Hey everybody, and thanks for listening to the 15 Minutes With podcast. My name is Joe Tommaso. 15 Minutes With has recently been featured in the New York Times, the New York Post, and several other media platforms. The show goes into jails and prisons across the country, and we talk to inmates, some high profile and some just your regular Joes and Janes. 15 Minutes With is different than a lot of other prison channels out there because the people we talk to are still behind prison bars. Unlike corporate shows like Lockup and others, our shows are totally unscripted. We ask those we talk with about their crimes and if they feel remorse, and about life on the inside in general. If you like this show, please click the like and subscribe buttons. If you want to get notified when we drop new content, hit the notification button as well. If you'd like to help me keep this show going and would like to help me see it get better, please donate to paypal.me/Joe Tommaso. Again, that's paypal.me/JoeTomaso. If you have any comments or suggestions or would like to see us interview someone in particular, you can email us at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Again, that email is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com, or snail mail me at P.O. Box 162, West Haven, Connecticut 06516. Again, that snail mail address is P.O. Box 162, West Haven, Connecticut 06516. This is my first on-air interview with Roderick Lee. Roderick Lee is an inmate currently housed at SCI Green, or State Correctional Institution Green, in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. SCI Green is a maximum security facility with 11 housing units and is home to 1,725 offenders as of this date. Roderick Lee entered the Pennsylvania Corrections Department in 1985 at age 25 and is currently serving a sentence that maxes out at 50 years. This puts Roderick Lee out the door and back in society at age 75. What crime did this man commit that put him inside at age 25 and will release him back into society as an old man a half century later? Roderick Lee himself admits his life was not that of a choir boy. In fact, he tells me he was on the police department's radar long before this sentence. He is currently serving a sentence for attempted murder, attempted assault, and recklessly endangering another person, as well as other charges for a stabbing that happened at Tom's Cafe, which was a bar in the city of Allentown, Pennsylvania. This happened on August 10th, 1985. So, without further ado, in the words of my friend Joe Guerrero from After Prison Show, let's dive into Roderick's story on this segment of 15 Minutes With.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at SCI Green. This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Green. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press 2. If you would like to permanently... If you have any concern that the person you are speaking with is in mental health crisis or suicidal, please call the State Correctional Institution immediately. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey, Roderick?
What's going on, Joe?
Hey, Roderick. So I'm going to go right into this really quick so we can get this going. So I'm going to have you tell everybody your name and where you're at.
All right. My name is Roderick Lee. I'm at SCI Green County.
Okay.
Green.
Okay, so that is the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. And why are you incarcerated? What did you do?
Well, my original charge was aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. You know, I was out on the street and I went in a bar with my sister and had a couple of drinks, and somebody put their hands on my sister, and I defended her. You know.
Okay, now you got out. You had gotten out during your time out on bond prior to getting sentenced, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and what was the original sentence you had when you were sentenced?
It was a 5 to 10.
Okay, and now that sentence, you've had other charges come on since you've been in jail. We're not going to go into those charges right now. But what is your total effective sentence now?
My sentence now is 23 to 50 years.
Okay, so 23 to 50 years you're looking at serving in the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. So, tell the listeners what it's like on the inside of SCI Green or the Department of Corrections right now. What is it like on a daily basis in there?
Well, on a daily basis, truthfully, it's hell. Because it seems like it's every man for themselves. You know what I mean? And if you don't got people out on the outside that's helping you out, it's really hard to survive in here. You know?
Okay, and are there? I know I've spoke to another inmate from your facility, Stephen Hayes, and he's told us that it's pretty dangerous in there. Is that true? I mean, do you have any problems?
Yeah, well, you got people always trying to get over on you, right? For one thing, right? And it all depends how you carry yourself, but you always lock down because somebody's always knocking somebody upside the head with some D batteries, or it's something's always happening. Inmates jumping on guards, and so it's always something happening to keep you locked down. Like I say, in a week time, we might get locked down 3-4 times. Week time, you know what I mean? Because it's always.
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution. Green. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
So if you had somebody, if you yourself had seen yourself before everything happened with your sister, or if you had seen somebody that was heading down, the criminal path, and it was before you were, incarcerated, what would you tell them as far as, would you tell them, go ahead and keep going their way? Or would you tell them, not to go that way? What would you say to them?
Well, the first thing I would do is try to sit down and talk to them and let them know that this jail is no joke. And if they keep going down the road that they going down, that they would not like it. Because there's no telling what can happen while you're in jail. There's no telling. And I would let them know that, they either get their act together, get new friends. Friends that's trying to do the right thing out there. Instead of friends that's out there running the streets and running in bars and doing all the wild stuff. You got to have people out on the street that care for you to keep you on track. There's a lot of young, I call them young fools in jail. Because they don't care if they get out of jail when they getting out. A lot of them come to jail with 5 to 10s and they max out the whole 10 years, and they trying to keep other people in jail with them. So you got to be careful. I would let them know that jail is not the place.
So if you had somebody that was coming into jail for their first time...
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution. Green. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
If you had somebody that was coming into jail for their first time, what would your advice be to them? How would they survive? I've had people tell me, don't gamble, don't get involved with drugs, stuff like that. So what would you tell them?
I would tell them to go to school, try to get all the education they can get because it's free in here. Stay away from the gambling. Stay away from the drugs. Just do your best. In order to stay away from all that I said, you got to stay away from certain individuals. If you know that somebody's up here doing drugs or a drug dealer, you got to stay away from them. Because if you don't, you get pulled into a trap, and once you're in the trap, you in it. There's no way of getting out of it.
Well, the other thing I was going to say, too, is when you get into, gambling or whatever, I know that a lot of people wind up going to segregation. I don't know how Pennsylvania is, but here in Connecticut, they will wind up making it so they wind up in segregation because they think that's going to erase their debt and get them out. Is it the same way in Pennsylvania, or?
Nah. If you take a lockup, when you come back out, them people that you owe is still going to be here. You know what I mean? And the beat goes on. You know what I mean? It's like you owe somebody some money, and you say, "Oh well, I'm going to take a lockup," or you might go to the administration and say, "Oh, this person threatened me. I mean, I owe them money," and they might lock that person up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they got their homies out here and said, "Oh, you owe my homie this, so now you got to pay me."
So eventually, they're going to pay up no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what.
Okay.
The debt is always there. And that's a life that you don't want to live in jail. You know what I mean?
So tell me some of the things you've seen in there. Like, I mean, I know Steve said that he's seen people stabbed in there and stuff like that. I mean, and I'm assuming it's over some type of a debt or snitching or whatever. So.
Yeah. You see, like things like that happen like almost every day. I mean, somebody's getting knocked upside the head with some D batteries, and the guards are jumping on inmates, and things like that you see every day. But me myself, I just try to stay away from it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing is I'm trying to go home after being locked up.
I do want to touch on one thing with you right now. Regarding, you said you're looking at upwards of 50 years, but you've been incarcerated since what year?
Well, I fell in 85.
So you've been inside since 85. It's 2019 right now, and you just went to the parole board, correct?
Nah, I saw the parole board. This is my 7th time seeing them.
Okay, so 7 times you've been to the parole board, and 7 times they've told you come back and see us again.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and that's just the way it is. So a lot of people may think that they're going to just go in, do their time, and that first time they're going in front of the parole board, as long as they keep it on the straight and narrow, they're going. But that's not the case.
Nah, it ain't the case. I mean, you got to do. I mean, like with me.
Mm-hmm.
First time I went and see them, they gave me a hit because I was making African face masks out of soap. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I make things out of soap. They gave me a year hit, and unfortunately, in that year hit, something bad happened where, I mean, somebody said I did something.
Mm-hmm. Well, here. Let me go and explain this to them, to the listeners too. You were making things out of soap. So basically, what people don't understand is, a bar of soap that you buy or you get, okay, from the prison system, that in itself is not contraband. But as soon as you change that into something else, it becomes contraband.
Yeah.
So, you made something nice out of a bar of soap, and now all of a sudden you're in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Trying to occupy your time.
Yep.
Okay, so, I mean, I know that there's other people that, do alterations on their clothing. There's, I mean, obviously, people know that when people go to prison, sometimes people will get prison tattoos and stuff. That's an obvious, breaking of the rules. But, you would think making something out of a bar of soap, how petty can that get?
Hey, that's how it is. And if I knew at the time that I would get in trouble for it, I wouldn't have did it. I mean, but I was that greater for it, and that was like what you call my hustle. I mean, I had to make African face masks. I mean, out of live soap, and and I wasn't even making it for myself. I was making it for my teacher because at the time I was going to school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I just happened, the guard just came one day and shook down my cell, saw the soap, saw the African face mask, and said it was contraband.
So you were trying to do something nice, and it wasn't even. You were, I mean, I know you said this was your hustle, but you were trying to do something nice for somebody, and you got hit with a contraband charge.
Yeah. Yep. Parole board gave me a year hit.
And then that, in turn, that hit wound up costing you your parole that year.
Yeah. Yep.
Unbelievable.
And every time I see the parole board, they always say the same thing. I'm a threat. I'm a threat to the society. You know what I mean? I'm a high risk, and I'm saying, how can I be a high risk if I haven't been out there?
Well, the other thing I want to bring to you, I mean, you're not somebody that gets into trouble all the time on the inside. You're not constantly locked up in segregation, and if you do go to segregation, you just said yourself, it's for making masks out of soap, so, I mean, it's not like you're getting into, fights or you're a disciplinary issue.
I hadn't had a write-up in 7 years.
So you haven't had a write-up in 7 years. Now, you just went to the parole board recently, correct?
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and did they tell you a result right then, or did they tell you to come back again?
No, they told me that I got to wait 4 to 6 weeks for my green sheet.
Okay, now what can you explain to them what the to the listeners what the green sheet is? What that is exactly?
That's the decision of the parole board.
So basically, you have 4 to 6 weeks after your hearing, and then you're going to get a piece of paper. And is there a way, if the parole board comes back and says, hey, you know what, come see us again in a year, is there a way to an appeal for that, or you just have to wait that year?
No, you got to wait that year, you know what I mean? The last time I saw them, they gave me a 5-year hit, but then I was allowed to ask for a reconsideration. And they gave me one a year later. And they told me if I finish my programs and don't get no more misconducts, that I have a good chance of going. But I was at another jail when that happened, you know what I mean? But now I'm at Green, so it's like starting all over again, you know what I mean?
So how long have you been at Green exactly?
I got here February the 13th. This year.
Of this past year?
Yeah, this year right here.
Okay, so you're right. It is. It's like starting off brand new because they don't know you, and each parole board is separate to each institution, correct?
Yeah. That's the first thing they say. Well, we don't know you, so we want to get to know left. You. So, that's why I say 9 times out of 10, they're going to give me another year hit because they don't know me.
Roderick, this is going to end our phone call for tonight, but we're going to be talking again, that's for sure. So what would you like to leave people with, if you wanted to say something to them before you leave? What would you like to tell them?
Please get your education and stay away from the bad guys. Because jail ain't no place to be for no one.
Thank you, Roderick. I really appreciate it.
All right. Nice talking to you.
Yep, thanks. Thank you for listening to 15 Minutes With. I hope you've enjoyed this edition. If you have enjoyed this edition of 15 Minutes With, please hit the like and the subscribe button. You can also help me keep this show going and watch it get better by donating to paypal.me/Joe Tomaso. That address again is paypal.me/JoeTomaso. 15 Minutes With is constantly looking for new content to upload and new people to interview. If you would like to share your story, or if there's someone you would like to see us interview, please email us at insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. That email address again is insidetherazorwire@gmail.com. Last but not least, again, if you like to support this channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, we'll be seeing you